Hey there, I know you're on a journey from grief to growth, just like I am, and you may be looking for tools to help you live a more soul aligned life. Well, head over to my Grief to Growth store. It's your one stop shop for inspiration, for healing, and for transformation. Inside there, you're going to find some free resources to help you get started. You'll find guided meditations to calm your mind and reconnect with your spirit. You'll find signed copies of my book, Gems of Healing. You'll find my brand new Oracle deck to help you tap into daily divine guidance. And there's some powerful mini courses designed to fit in your busy life and move you forward one gentle step at a time. So whether you're deep in grief, seeking spiritual growth, or just ready for a reset, there's something waiting for you right now. Just go to grieftogrowth.com/store, grief2growth.com/store, and start exploring. Close your eyes and imagine. What if the things in life that cause us the greatest pain, the things that bring us grief, are challenges? Challenges designed to help us grow, to ultimately become what we were always meant to be. We feel like we've been buried, but what if, like a seed, we've been planted? And having been planted, we grow to become a mighty tree. Now, open your eyes. Open your eyes to this way of viewing life. Come with me as we explore your true, infinite, eternal nature. This is Grief to Growth, and I am your host, Brian Smith. Hi, I'm Brian Smith, and welcome to Grief to Growth. And whether you're joining us for the first time or you're a longtime listener, I'm truly grateful that you're here. This podcast is about navigating the challenges of life while exploring the deeper questions like who we are, why we're here, where do we come from, and of course, where we're going. Through candid conversations and personal insights, we aim to provide comfort, clarity, and community for anyone walking the path of transformation and healing. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into the mysteries of spiritual awakening, energy healing, and the incredible potential that lies within each of us. I'm honored to welcome Eva Mueller to the show. Eva is a spiritual teacher, a divine channel, and an energy healer who has undergone a profound spiritual awakening journey. In just 3.5 years, she experienced a series of elevated consciousness states, including self-realization, unity consciousness, and even pure divinity. And from this awakening came her remarkable ability to transmit energy, to work with subtle frequencies, and to guide others through deep healing, helping people reconnect to their true nature, which she calls pure beingness. We'll talk about the transformational power of energy transmissions, the role of healing trauma and emotional blockages, and how motherhood can be a surprising gateway to spiritual growth. She will also share how she launched nextelevations.com, which is a platform that delivers 24/7 divine energy for personal growth, and what happens when you begin to live from your highest truth. So whether you're curious about self-healing, looking to shift your vibration, or you're exploring the boundaries of consciousness itself, this episode will offer a powerful glimpse into what's possible when we open ourselves to energetic and spiritual alignment. And don't forget, after the episode, to join me on my Substack at grieftogrowth.substack.com to continue the conversation there with me and other listeners. And with that, I'd like to welcome to Grief to Growth, Eva.
Hi, thank you very much for having me and for this amazing introduction. Really appreciate being here.
Yeah. It's great to have you. And I should have asked before we started, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name right. Is it Eva or Eva?
Yeah, in German it's Eva, but in English it's Eva. So that's absolutely fine. Yeah.
Okay. And you're coming to us from Austria, I think you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
it's
good.
Austria.
Good to have you here. So I know that you've undergone this transformation, let's call it, in about 3.5 years, which is a very rapid period of time. So what triggered that for you?
It was basically meditation and energy transmissions. So what I'm working with today as well, this is what I was receiving basically from the beginning on when I started being interested in meditation. And I was meditating basically every day, let's say for 1.5 hours, receiving energy transmissions, and the growth or the expansion and the healing happened quite fast from that. Yeah.
So from meditating?
Yeah, it's from meditating, yeah, and receiving energy transmission. So it's really about the energy transmission. I mean, you sit in silence, right? You have your eyes closed. You're you can listen within yourself, like the feelings that come up, the emotions that are there, the thoughts and so forth. So you basically just dive within your system before, when you have your eyes open, there are distractions in our everyday life. So at first, it takes a little bit of time to experience or to see that actually the main experience of life is happening within us and not on the outside. And this can be cultivated through meditation. Yeah.
And so were you meditating for a while before these transmissions started?
Not really. I did a few guided meditations, but it was more because of personal development, interest in that area, because I was, let's just say, unhappy with my life. I knew I had to change something. I didn't really know what it was. And then I went down the route of personal development, and I found somebody who also introduced me to guided meditations, and that was very helpful, to hear the guidance and not just sitting in silence, because this can be a bit tricky in the beginning. And I basically had a profound spiritual experience with a guided meditation. So I just dropped into a space of silence, of nothingness, of peace, of clarity. So my whole life story was gone. The identification or the person Eva was absolutely gone. Like there was nothing there. It was just this beautiful space. And I dropped into that, I guess, by mistake, because it wasn't the intention of the guided meditation. And it was just so peaceful. And I thought, okay, if I can experience this in meditation, like there must be a way to experience this all the time. And this basically when the interest or the yearning for more started.
Yeah. It seems to be a thing, it's like we're going along about our lives and then we realize there's something missing. It sounds like that's what happened for you too, and put you on this path of personal development. Was there something particular, or you said maybe just like a general feeling?
Yeah, I always thought if I find the perfect job, I don't know, this was just my belief, the perfect job where I'm successful, I earn a good amount of money and I like it as well, then I find what I was looking for. So I always thought I'm going to find it in a job. I don't know why. And basically I went through school, university, studying law and mediation, and then started working, but I just could never find it. Like no matter what I did in that area, I couldn't find it. And just the lack of, like, when you look for something and you can't find it, there's just a big hole, and it just got bigger and bigger. And devastation was there, and, suffering of all sorts of emotions came up. I just call them low vibrational emotions. So there was sadness, there was anger, there was fear, there was just all sorts of emotions present. I thought I just have to change something, like I don't want to go on like that. I don't want to waste my time. And listening to podcasts, I heard there are people out there who are actually living the life that they prefer. So I knew it's also a thing. I also had this feeling, but there were real life examples. And then I just started like an online program, and then this guided meditation program, and so forth. But then when I really found meditation, this was silent sittings at first. It was a group, it was on Zoom, so very convenient. And at first I didn't really know what they were doing. So they were just sitting in silence. I thought, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit with them. We'll see what's going to happen. But the guy who led the group was actually transmitting spiritual energy for awakening. And after a while, being in this group and hearing people talking, I kind of got an understanding of what they're actually doing and what spiritual awakening is about. Because, you hear these words, but I didn't really have an understanding of it. And after about 3 months of sitting, I started to feel the energies as well, because before I didn't. So it was just a meditation, silence. Yeah, you have like the mind going, the monkey mind, and the body wants to get up and do all sorts of stuff, just not sitting. But then after a while, it was really, okay, I can actually feel it. And also right in the beginning, I started then also to get like visions with my eyes closed and saw colors. And so this basically became alive after a while. Yeah.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I'm excited to announce I have a great new resource. It's called GEMS, 4 Steps to Move from Grief to Joy. And what it is, it's 4 things that I've found that I do on a daily basis to help me to navigate my grief. And I'm offering it to you free of charge. It's a free download. Just go to my website, www.grieftogrowth.com/gems, GEMS, and grab it there for free. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, it's really interesting, and I'm glad you share with us that feeling of like something's not quite right. I think that we all feel that a lot of times, and we do pursue things like career or money or fame or whatever it is, and then we get it, and we were like, okay, this isn't what I was really looking for. It doesn't fill that hole. So I think we all feel that at some point. My podcast is for people who have gone through a grief event. And a lot of
Yeah.
times that is a very event that'll really trigger that because we start to question everything and we start to look for okay, so how do I find this peace that I'm looking for? And you're talking about, you learn to turn within. So what's interesting to me though, because a lot of times people will meditate for years, decades, and not reach the state that you're talking about. But you also mentioned the group you're in, the guy was transmitting spiritual energies, I guess. So talk about that some more.
Yeah, I know it's really the energies that take you forward so fast because it's happening beyond the mind. So you just sit there, you have basically a rest, and the energies, they come in, they're very high vibrational, and energy is just information. It's higher information. And the information comes in and starts transforming the system. So basically the information that's within so when I talk about the system, is the body and the mind and the energy field. It starts changing the information in the system towards our personal highest truth. This is basically how I see it.
Okay.
So everything that's not of our personal highest truth, all the low vibrational energies, so the emotions like fear, anxiety, so all sorts of energy patterns, also patterns. Everything is energy on the core level, but patterns that are playing out all the time, right? Where we don't really have a free will, they just kick in and they play out. Experiences from the past. So when we had an experience in the past, and especially when we were young, and we didn't process the emotion fully. So there is a time when energies start getting stuck. So when we are very young, we can process if a child has a meltdown and the emotion flows through the system. This is how I see it, and leaves the system so that the child has this emotion in the present moment, and then the energy is gone, and then it's like nothing happened. And this is how our system is supposed to work. But because we learn to, not feel our emotions, we have to be quiet. We're not supposed to have a meltdown and all these things, right? When we're young, we start not living them fully, and then they get stuck. And these stuck energies, they then get triggered over and over again through different events, similar events, but different ones throughout our lifetime. So again, this emotion gets triggered. We feel the emotion in the present moment, but it's actually an emotion from the past. Although there is no past and future, it's just a memory in our system from a past event. So it's actually happening in the present moment. And then we feel it. So it's actually not something we feel because of something that's happening in the present moment, but because of something that happened a while ago. And, this accumulates throughout all our lifetime. And then I also see that there are ancestral influences, so influences from parents and grandparents, that come in. Then also past life influences. So, we've incarnated before. Influences is just information from these lifetimes. I always see it as emotions that haven't been processed. And if we still have resonance for this emotion in our system right now, it can influence us. It basically can just make it stronger. Yeah, and what do we do with all these emotions? Because they just come up, like we go through our everyday life, and small things can actually trigger them. A work colleague, the news, an event where we experience loss and so forth. So it's not just that it happens in the present moment that we experience the emotions, but also past emotions are coming up, and this is the problem. So there's just a lot going on. And what energy transmissions are doing, or the ones I'm working with and the ones I receive, they do a lot at the same time. So the ones I'm working with is, on the one hand, they help to heal and clear the system from low vibrational energies. So all the ones I just shared, they start dissolving them so that they're just basically gone. And by that, we start raising our vibration. So we become lighter. So it's not that we just have high vibrational emotions. It's not only about the emotion. It's really our system changes. We become more high vibrational. We have more light. We carry more light. light is higher information, and the more lighter we are, the higher the information is that is within our system. So the closer we are to our personal highest truth. Yeah, and then also at the same time, the awakening process is disidentifying from who we are, right? From our body, from the thoughts, from the emotions, from the small self, from the ego. And this is what the energies are doing at the same time. They just start dissolving these mechanisms. So even though, let's say when the mechanism of identification with the small self is dissolved, we experience something low vibration in the present moment. We have the emotions in the present moment, but it's like we feel the emotions. It's not like that we identify and then we go into, there's always, depending on what we experienced in the past, but all sorts of stuff can get triggered up by that as well. I'm fear of the future. I hope this is not going to happen again. Feeling alone. Not worthy, not being worthy, and all of these things. So this is all not coming up again. It's just the emotion is felt in the present moment, the one that's needed, and then after a while it's leaving the system and then it's gone. So this is what we're working towards.
Yeah, that sounds great, because I think we can all relate to, something happens and we react way more emotionally than we should based upon what actually happened, because and we don't realize it's actually triggering or activating something from a long time past. And it could be from, as you said, from ancestors or from even a past life as well. So we may not always be able to identify where that really strong emotion's coming from.
Yeah, exactly. Like we can't know. And it's often hard to also trace it back, like with the mind, because this is what you can do. You can trace it back with the mind, but, sometimes there are just no memories there or they don't make sense. And often we also have protective mechanisms that we can't go back into certain experiences because it would be too traumatizing to relive it. So we can't really access those. And the energies are just helping to heal and clear them and opening up the system so that more life energy can flow. So life energy is life itself. So life energy flows from the root to the crown chakra, falls back down left and right and flows up again. So it's a constant flow. And this is also what we want. We want to have as much life energy flowing as possible, because when it does, it means we are okay, or we surrender to how life is unfolding, because there's often resistance to how life is unfolding, right? But then, doing this work, we kind of get to a point where we trust life. I allow life to unfold as it wants. And then, it's just a flow. So every day is just a flow of life. The flow of life is just unfolding in the present moment. So past and future, this mechanism that creates past and future also gets dissolved, because it's just a mechanism that we can actually experience it, but it doesn't exist. The experience exists because of this mechanism, but it actually doesn't exist. And what's behind all of these emotions? So I call it the movement and the noise in the system, because it's always there. So there's always this movement. And behind there is the true nature. This is there all the time. We just don't have access most of the time, or not all the time. And this is where the peace is, the silence, the clarity, and that's just always there. And the awakening process is about removing low vibrational energies, transforming the system, disidentifying from who we think we are, and basically becoming the true nature, the absolute, becoming that, and living from there at all times. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'd all like to live there from there at all times, and it's really interesting. I was listening to something the other day about personality, and they were talking about, anxiety and depression and stuff. And a lot of times we feel this and we can't with our mind go back to figure out where is this coming from. And I think you made a really good point about, like, our mind sometimes protects us from things by, like, I hardly remember any of my childhood. I'm like a really weird person where, like, I don't remember anything before like the age of 5, and not much before the age of 8. And I did not have a traumatic childhood. That's just the way my mind works, I guess. So I think a lot of times we think, oh, I could go back and figure out where this is coming from, but the mind can't always do that.
Yeah, no, it can't. No, that's the thing. And also it's the same for me. So before it was similar like that as well. And now it's like it's like my past doesn't exist. it's just gone because
Mm-hmm.
the energies that were triggered up or the stuck energies, I healed and cleared them. So emotionally, often we let's say there is an experience 2 weeks ago, and if we think about it in the present moment, the thoughts come up about the experience, also the emotions get triggered up.
Mm-hmm.
So I always bring this example because it's a funny one. Somebody ate my cake. I baked this beautiful cake and somebody ate it and they're very, very angry about that. So right now, and then I make a decision based on the anger that basically comes in from the past into the present moment. And then I say, okay, I'm not going to bake a cake today because I don't want it getting eaten again. So I basically make a decision based on a past experience. And I also project it into the future. If somebody asks me, hey, can you bake a cake for somebody's birthday? And then I'm like, this trigger gets triggered up in the present moment. I project it into the future and I say, no, I'm not going to bake a cake because it was eaten and I felt so angry and I'm never going to do this again, This is basically, but this is very normal. This is just how the human system functions.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what we don't want. So we don't want to have access to past memories of emotions because, or stuck energies, as I call them, because they just removed, they're gone. We can think about this experience, but it doesn't do anything. Like it doesn't change the state of peace or silence. It's just there all the time. And there is no you can't project it into the future because when you are in the present moment, it doesn't work anymore. Like there is no possibility. It feels like there is a wall. You can't move there anymore. Yeah, this is how it feels.
Yeah, well, I want to just kind of reemphasize what you said because I think it's really, really important. It doesn't mean that we don't have the memory of the past event, but we don't have that emotional attachment to it. And I know when I was going through some grief therapy after my daughter passed away, one of the things what we want to do is be able to have that memory, but without it triggering that trauma or that emotional response. So you can remember that someone ate your cake in the past, but it doesn't make you angry in the present.
Exactly. Yeah, of course. Of course. So it's not that, all life like you lived in the past is like vanishes, the whole information vanishes. It's exactly as you shared. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. But often then, there is no point going into the past. I mean, of course, remembering your daughter is very important to you, I'm sure. So that's very different versus, if somebody has actually ate your cake, there is like,
Right. Right.
we wouldn't go into that ever again.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it
So
would be
it's just
like if
important
someone
stuff.
said to you, Ava, can you make a cake for me? You wouldn't go back to like, oh, when I made that cake before, it wouldn't even come up.
Yeah,
Right.
it doesn't come up. You just like and this is the next thing that's part of the true nature. So basically, the true nature has all sorts of different changes in the system and also change in experience. And one of them is living from intuition at all times. So you basically get like it's a bubble of information. The information comes up. It's absolutely disconnected from the mind. So it's not like that it comes into the mind. It's like just a knowing. And then it's more like, do I feel like, is it my highest truth in the present moment to bake a cake? And if yes, you just do it, like you don't question it. And if no, then it's no. And the rational mind like doesn't step in. And if it does, it's more like you have a big room and there is a mosquito. I mean, you notice it, but it's not something that grabs you and takes you away from the experience in the rest of the room. So the mind gets the energy of the mind gets very small. So before the energy of the mind is very strong, right? Because all our lives, we train the mind so much, like from a young age on. So it's very important. But we don't really train the intuition. But then eventually the intuition becomes so strong that this is our main experience and we just follow that. And the mind can say 100 things, let's say, against baking this cake. If I feel like doing it, I just do it, like it doesn't have any say. The mind is more a tool, to use so that we can do something like writing a book, memorizing something, I don't know, something like that. But the information comes more from the field. So, for example, when we talk right now, like the information doesn't come from my mind. My mind is blank, empty. There's nothing going on there, no thoughts. It's just, it comes from the field. Yeah. And that's, and the rest comes from intuition, like an impulse.
It's really interesting because, I work with people in grief, and a lot of times we're like, people are saying, okay, well, what do I do next? Do I Do I move here? Do I stay here? Do I retire? Do I quit my job, etc.? And we are so caught up with our minds and training our minds that we will just sit and try to analyze things and write it out on a piece of paper or make a spreadsheet or whatever. And I've learned over the last 10 years since my daughter passed away, I'm trying to move more into working using my intuition, but it's difficult. I'm an engineer, so my background is like train the mind, use the mind, and make rational decisions. But I'm trying to get to more that what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I used my mind a lot as well. I studied law, and law is just like studying
Yeah.
through the mind. It doesn't, no intuition at all. So I absolutely know how how it feels. And this is also why I felt so lost before I started meditating, because there was all these ideas, but there was no, I call it energy behind it to proceed, to move forward, because the mind just brings up a lot of random stuff, like what to follow. Yeah, and sorry, now I moved away too far from your question. So can you just share a
Let's talk
question again?
about learning to trust the mind more.
Oh yeah,
As a very rational person, you being a background in law, my background being in engineering, it's a difficult thing for sometimes people like us to make that transition. And when people are like deep in grief, or when people experience this crisis that like things aren't working, we go to the mind and we don't even understand that we have an intuition.
yeah, and why is this? It's because there is so much, as I call it, movement in the system. There are so many different emotions, especially low vibrational emotions, that it's very hard to access the intuition. So absolutely get it. And
Hmm.
it's really about calming down the system so that you can hear it, because before
Hmm.
it's just you can't hear it. Um, a, a very important one, although I don't even know, like, I don't know if people can hear it at that stage, but it's like follow the joy, because joy is probably one of the last things people think about. But following the joy, if you follow something that you prefer, you're already moving towards your personal highest truth, but there will be a lot of things in the way why people can't, right? There are a lot of programs. I'm not a good person when I do. I'm not good enough. I don't have the money. There is just a lot of different, I don't have the
Hmm.
time. There's just a lot
Hmm.
of things in the way. And it's basically, this is my work helps just to heal and clear the system. Like this is the goal, everything, so that these energy patterns don't play out anymore, that they're not there anymore, so that we can actually follow the joy. So
Hmm.
over time, there just becomes less and less. And when there are less, you can actually understand more how your system works. So you see, oh, I'm in an energy pattern. I'm caught in an energy pattern. There is an emotion being triggered up. I'm in my mind, like distinguishing and understanding how the system works. And then it's a lot easier.
Hmm.
But I say it's better to flip a coin and go with what comes up than listening to the mind, because the mind can come from all different directions, gives you thousands of different ideas what to do and how to do it, and it's just a collection from past experiences or past experiences. So
Hmm.
it can't really know what serves you in the present moment. And also, like, if the one decision would be yes, the other decision would be no, there is no rational explanation for it. It's just what comes forward. So my recommendation is really trying to get the system more quiet, just a little bit more
Hmm.
quiet. And I recommend working with energies, because, like you said before, you can sit in meditation a long time, and you can witness all these emotions being there and the thoughts being there. So you can witness the movement, but it doesn't mean necessarily that it gets more quiet within you.
Yeah.
And the energies, they just take it away. And I mean, always depending how open, receptive people are. But meditating a few times. I have, for example, a YouTube channel. There are a lot of meditations on there. They all like come from different areas, but target the same direction.
Hmm.
People can already, like, I just remove emotions. Like I close my eyes, bring in the energies, and then I also assist. So I just remove emotions out of your system so that the system becomes quiet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You talked about flipping a coin earlier. Reminded me. I've heard people say if you're having trouble making a decision, flip a coin, but then what'll happen is if it's not what you want to do, you'll say, no, I don't want to do that.
Exactly. Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
when your intuition comes in. And it also reminds me, I'm married, been married for a long time, and you and your wife are talking about where we're going to go for dinner, and where no one can decide. But then you name a place, and they're like, no, I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
we can
This
get to
is
that
this,
point.
yeah, exactly. This is what I meant. I didn't finish that completely, but exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing this up. Yeah, that's important. So the first thing that comes up, and if you resonate with it, then fine. This is exactly what you need to do without the mind jumping in, or you just do the opposite because it doesn't resonate. So absolutely, flipping a coin is probably one of the best things you can do. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it forces you to kind of go to that intuition. So we've been using these terms. We talked about the field. We have things coming from the field. We've been talking about transmissions. Let's talk about what those things are. What is the field? What are these energy transmissions? Where are they coming from?
Yeah. So what I refer to as the field is just our own personal energy field. So it's a lot larger than the body, and there is information stored. So information from this life experience and also from like past life experiences, and not only especially as humans, but also like all sorts of other, it's just information, So we sometimes incarnated in places where they are physical, like the earth. Sometimes they're non-physical places and so forth. So information is already in there. And where are the transmissions coming from? So the ones I'm working with, so there are a lot of people who transmit all sorts of different energies. I can share the ones where the ones coming from that I transmit. So they're mostly coming from within creation. So everything in creation has an energy. And if you like everything, when I work with people, for example, in healing group sessions, it's all about healing and clearing the system and raising the vibration. So higher vibrational energies are coming in from within creation, and they meet the low vibrational energies, and either they neutralize them, or if they neutralize them, or if there is a lack, they kind of fill a lack. Again, it's neutralizing, is balancing, or I clear them out of the system, and then they just replace them. So this is basically what I do. And they are creational energies, and then energies that bring us to our true nature. So the absolute is beyond creation. So creation is infinite. Also, what you in the beginning you read out the levels of consciousness I experienced. So unity consciousness would be the one where you realize I'm everything in existence. You look at everything and you see everything is made out of consciousness, and you are that as well. And then there is beyond creation, and energies that come from there, they pull you. So when people meditate with them, and it's also part of the transmission that comes in. So my transmission just contains a lot of different energies. Everybody gets what they need. And people like whose life path it's going to be to also reach the absolute, they're going to be pulled into that. So they're going to be pulled into the absolute beyond creation. So most of the times these people then, when they meditate, they like gone. They just zoomed out. Yeah. And these are the energies, they come from beyond creation, into creation. And this was an experience actually I had within my body for about 3 months. So I experienced life from outside of creation, looking into creation. It's very different. It's like everything vanishes, like there is no sense of anything anymore. Nothing exists, and everything just manifests in front of. So it was my experience. Everything just manifested in front of my eyes when I was looking at it. Then it's there. And when you look away from it, it collapses, like it doesn't exist. So there is no sense of loved ones, of family, friends, of anything anymore. Like everything is empty and nothing is there. This is like you can't sense anything. There are no emotions. You don't have any emotions, no high vibrational, no low vibrational emotions. There is, of course, no individual or anything like that. It was already dissolved before. So it's like being in a very deep meditation at all times. And when you kind of talk to somebody, you kind of have to, I don't know if you meditate, but when you're like very deep, right? And somebody starts talking to you, and then you have to answer, like you come out of this very deep meditation within a few seconds talking to somebody, and then you pull back into that within a few seconds. So there were just all sorts of different experiences happening all the time, or basically just the life experience changed. For example, when I was looking into the distance, and this is still like, it's still the same, I can see it's like a movie screen, and everything is projected onto the movie screen. And between me and the movie screen is like a 3D creation of things. I can see them, and behind there is nothing. And this is really how I see now it works. So everybody has their own consciousness bubble. Let's just go with the bubble. This is how,
Sure.
how I explain it. And our own consciousness is projecting our life experience in this 3D reality within our bubble. So every human being on this planet has an absolutely different life experience because everybody's consciousness is formed a bit different. We all have a different personality. Then, we're formed differently in every life experience, different stuck energies, also depending on from the vibration from where we come from, and also the level of consciousness from where we incarnate. So everybody's life experience is very different. Yeah, and what I tell people is the only thing that exists is what you are experiencing in your day-to-day life. The rest doesn't exist for you. We hear, other people's stories, we hear what happens in other countries and so forth, and this is all happening because we all share a collective. But the only thing what we can do and what we can work in and communicate in and act in is our own reality, what we experience on a daily basis. And this is what we can change. So if we have a low vibrational life experience, we can do healing and clearing work, make it more high vibrational. And then it's not like that we decide what we want to have, like what specifically has to be more high vibrational. It's just life experience changes to an extent that you can't tap into low vibrational experience anymore. It's like they don't exist. So this is what raising the vibration actually means. It's not having only high vibrational emotions, that you listen to a good song and you feel great, you have, joy coming up and all of that. I mean, that's amazing. But it's really changing, like I said before, it's changing the system so that our own consciousness creates a life experience that's high vibrational and that's unique to everybody. So we are responsible, basically, although, you have to become kind of a little conscious to understand this a little bit like more, that you can actually create your life experience and that we are responsible for that. And it's just a path, like you have to understand this, realize this, integrate this, and finding the understanding that you can actually do something about what's happening in your life. Yeah.
Okay, so you talked about these states that you experienced, and the one you just described, was that the unity consciousness, or
Brahman,
was that
the Brahman consciousness, yes.
okay? And explain to me the other two states that you experienced.
So there was it's about awakening consciousness, and it's a possibility, it's a path to eventually realize the true nature, that you are the true nature at all times, and this is the main experience. There is also then the human. And there is also, yes, we are also a light that incarnates from creation. So there is a bit more to it, but the main experience is the absolute. And like I said, there are different paths to get there. And then when you're there, the path dissolves, there is no path needed. It's like, okay, there is actually no spiritual awakening, like you're just that what you are. You just become that what you are, and it's already there. But my path was through levels of consciousness. So the first level I experienced was self-realization. And this was experienced that I realized I'm not my body, not my emotions, not my thoughts. I was more like, I experienced myself being more in the background of my body and looking through my body out into life. And I was very detached at that time, from emotions, thoughts, and so forth, and from life experience itself as well. And it was very beautiful to just see this, that, you're not that. it's doing a lot. And when I looked out through life, throughout my eyes, though, it was like like looking through a camera lens, that the vision narrowed down, and I was just looking at everything like this. It was just, to me, it was just very fascinating, because it's actually a change in experience, like you just meditate and then your life experience is actually changing. And after that, so there is like also like a smaller middle stage. It's called God consciousness. So this was the next one. And this is more of an opening and it happens every now and then. So for me, it always happened when I was in nature. It's like a door opened up and I saw God in everything. So I'm the individual as Eva looked at the tree, at, I don't know, fields, grass and everything. And it was just like golden underlaid. It was sparkly, it was blissful. So when I was looking at it, I experienced a lot of bliss. It was just so beautiful. You actually think you're looking at God, or this is the experience, and God is everything, and you can look at it and it's absolutely beautiful, because there's just this beautiful love then as well, and the joy, and seeing this, it's very profound. It also does something with you, because I was just going for runs, as I usually did, and suddenly these openings happened. It's like these spiritual experiences with the eyes open. So that was very amazing. For a certain amount of time, this happened. And then the next one was unity consciousness. And this is basically when I became one with everything. And I'm going to go more in detail because this was, let's say, a more profound shift. So my experience was I was working towards it. So I already knew that I'm approaching it. And the experience was I was meditating and suddenly I just saw, when you have sometimes vision with your eyes closed, I saw my skin flowing off like a balloon. So, and then the boundaries of the small self dissolved and I suddenly became one with everything. So this was energetically, I can actually do this for people in meditation now, they can actually feel how it is to become one with everything. And a lot more happened. So the ego, the ego is usually in the forefront. We're identified with the ego. Ego is the survival mode. So this is kind of the problem here because, we have to survive even a conversation with somebody, like we have, like also the survival mode kicks in. So when this is in the forefront, life is kind of a bit hard. So the ego was pulled into the background because the energy, what it received before, was withdrawn. So everything is just there because we give it energy, because we believe it's true, it's our truth. But then the ego stepped into the background. And of course, it didn't enjoy that. It thought it was dying, because it didn't get the energy anymore. So for a few days, I definitely had the experience. I was walking around, but I felt like I was dying while walking, while doing my job, while being at work. Then also, I saw like a ball of light in the center of my chest. And this was removed. So there was just an empty space. And this ball of life was Eva, the life story, who I thought I was. So everything that that's a hard word to say, accumulated throughout life, accumulated, was just ripped out. And I was there, I was expecting, I thought when I reach unity consciousness, all my life problems will be gone. I will exist in bliss and joy. And that's really it. So this was my expectation.
Sure.
But it wasn't like that at all. And also the mechanism. So before I hardly did any healing and clearing work. I did a little bit, but there was a lot still of low vibrational energies in my system and I wasn't aware of them. And this mechanism that basically protected me from experiencing them, or this mechanism was like pulled them into the background, was just gone. And so everything blew up. So all sorts of low vibrational energies just came up. So I was experiencing so much fear. I was just so in fear, couldn't even sleep at night. There was just fear there all the time. Depression, couldn't get out of bed, anxiety, anger, like you name them, like all sorts of low vibrational energies were just coming up. I had no idea what happened because I didn't see them before. I was expecting bliss and love. And I felt, okay, I have a hole in the center of my chest. My ego wants not to die. I feel like I'm going to die. And so this was kind of a hard time to go through. And it took about, so I also couldn't receive any energy transmissions at that time. Like there was so much mistrust in the world, in people who I was working with, in my spiritual teacher, in energies and all of that, because this was also an energy that came up, basically I was experiencing that for about 2 months. And at that time I started working with a healer. So a bit before that. And she started clearing low vibrational energies out of my system. So she actually started this work. And then I calmed down, like the unity experience was there, but the low vibrational energies left. And then I calmed down over time. So it was okay. Like, I'm going to just integrate this new experience. After a while, it just becomes normal, even though it was very different from before, like how I felt before and how I was perceiving life before. But then, when you are experiencing the unity, the openness, so also energetically, the field is open. You're just one with everything. It's a beautiful experience because it takes away a lot and a lot of information comes in. So you always live and never die, for example. It's just a knowing, like you just know that. And there's a lot of other knowings coming in that are natural, but not natural to the human limited experience. But the thing was, the unity was open, and then every other day, a low vibration energy was present for a few days. Again, it was more fear, more anger, more sadness. I don't know. And then I was looking for a way, okay, how can I get rid of these energies? Because, I didn't want to feel them. I didn't want to have them there because I felt they weren't necessary to be there. I just want to have the openness of the unity all the time. And this is when I basically did a practice with a spiritual guru or teacher from India. So he gave me a practice to do to clear some skaras. So some skaras is just karma. It's just this low vibration energy stuck, same word for everything, basically out of the system. And I just did this practice. It was a mixture of pranayama, visualization, and energy transmission. And I did this for about 6 months. And at first, every other day, again, I was sitting in very low vibrational energies for 1 or 2 or 3 days because you actually push them up, right? So you push them up and, again, great, it's here. And of course, at that time, I was still identifying, the thoughts were still there and I kept it alive as well. This is the thing, because these mechanisms, so the unity consciousness, it takes some time to integrate. So, for example, the identification slowly starts falling away with life and with emotions. So at that time, it still felt very personal. So I kept it there. Yeah, and this still was working with a healer, and until this all calmed down to an extent that I had basically a low vibrational experience or energy coming up every other week. Yeah.
So these different states of consciousness as human beings, and we do live in a world where we have to pay the bills and go out and interact with people and all that stuff. Where should we be? Where should we try to be? Because I've talked to someone who actually went through some different things, and she said she felt like super enlightened for like a few days, I think it was. And she saw, kind of like you described, she went outside, the grass was glowing and blah, 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 but she couldn't go to work. She said, I had no interest in doing anything, that had to do with the ego or with work. So what should we be striving for?
Yeah. I mean, this can be part of the path that we have times where we're just not interested in this 3D reality anymore. I had this as well. I wasn't interested in having conversations with people or meeting my friends or being with family. And, but this is very natural because this is a movement, Sometimes we move kind of away from this 3D reality. Meditation becomes more important, energies, whoever we work with, whichever path we follow. Then the movement goes back into life because we need to integrate this. I mean, ideally, first of all, I have to say this was my experience. Integrate this in life. So you're more in life experience involved. It's integrating and then you move back and so forth. But what my energy transmission is doing, and this is what I'm so happy about, is it happens at the same time. So the human receives and the true nature is moving forward. So when I mean the human receives, the healing and clearing is happening on the human level, and what the true nature is and everything that it brings with it comes forward gradually. So this movement back and forth is more tiny. And that you have blissed out experiences and can't move and do anything. This hardly happens with my energy transmission. It also didn't happen to me before. I know people, who were like this. It was mostly people who have had a Kundalini awakening, or, the awakening happened through Kundalini, because this is very physical and, there's a lot of bliss there. And so these people can be a bit more unfunctional for a certain amount of time. But I was working through the whole time, just meditating in the evening, doing my everyday things. And now I'm working with energies, and I also have a baby, and it's like you have everything in life. But this was a big fear of myself. Like, this was one of the biggest fears, moving into Then Brahman consciousness, because from unity, I thought, right, I thought it's going to be blissful and lovely and love and joy and all of that. Experience was different. And then with Brahman, I knew it's just going to be a whole different level. Like unity is nice, but then Brahman is just a whole lot of different change in experience. And since I knew people who were in that state, and I knew that they have family and they just very normal, and when I talk to them, it's all normal. I kind of felt safe. And this is also what I do for people. So I bring them into these states of consciousness, that they get already an experience of it, so that they know there is nothing to fear of or nothing to worry about. Because then the system already has an experience. You sit in it. I mean, of course, you sit in it with your eyes closed, but you still exist. You're not going to die just because the ego steps into the background. For example, I do this for people. I pull the ego into the background, do all sorts of different things. I basically create these experiences so that people just know, okay, they can basically fully. So first, it's like allowing, accepting, then surrendering, and then it's just how it is. Like you just move through this, these emotions, or this opening, I guess, because when I say people just surrender to the light and receive it, yes, but surrendering is often something that's mistaken by, do you have actively to do that? But it's really just, okay, I sit there, I receive, I don't think about it. There is no resistance in my system. That's basically what it is from an energetical level.
All right, great. I want to ask you, I do want to get into next elevations, but before we do that, you mentioned something about motherhood and how motherhood can change people's consciousness. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, before you become a mother, you're pregnant for 9 months, and then the child is coming. And in my experience, there was I had to let go of a lot, even though I have healed and cleared so much before in my system, but we can always more expand. And just, certain things I preferred in life, a certain way of living, a certain lifestyle. When you're pregnant, you already kind of have to, like, I love sports. Like after a while, you can't really do all sports anymore. Just to share a few things, or eat certain foods or whatever. You just have to let go. You have to surrender to life. So it basically helped me to next level surrender, or allow life to unfold how it's supposed to unfold, and not have any resistance. Because, you could either say, okay, this is just how it is. I can't do sports anymore. Or you could say, oh my God, I miss this so much, and why is this happening? And you basically resist it. So there is always the openness or the resistance. The same is when you have a child, right? I mean, there's hardly any time for meeting wonderful people like you, So I kind of have, there is no privacy, like there is no time for myself. Like everything has to be done fast and under, pressure of a child screaming and so forth. So yeah. So it's a possibility to let go of a lot more that's in the way. That's, again, it's false. It's energy. So on the fundamental levels, it's just energies or habits. So first so on the top level is the habit, underneath is the energy. So the energy is getting withdrawn because we can't do certain things anymore. It's just directed into a different area. And on the level above is the habit. And then this also, when there is no energy behind it, it's easier to just that the habit just gets dissolved. And so just a lot of things, who I thought I was, or who I created my life. I mean, not in the identifying way, but like how I preferred my life experience, totally changed. And I kind of have to now, go with the flow, go with the child even more than before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So allowing life to unfold, basically. The bottom line is just going with the flow of life, because there can be a lot of resistance in all areas. So this is basically the bottom line. Yeah. And children are absolutely amazing for helping us to let go of more. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you become a different person when you have a child. Whether you're a mother, or I can speak from the experience of being a father. I remember my wife talked about, like, let's have children. I'm like, I kind of like my life the way it is now, because I knew people that had children. It's like, you have a different life when you have a child. As you said, it's not about you anymore. It's about what they want for dinner, where they want to go. It's like they pretty much drag you around. So it is kind of a a humbling experience and a letting go experience.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to let go because, there are parents and they still want it their way.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, when it gets difficult, because then, of course, the child resists because it wants it its way. And then just difficulties are coming up, in how the child behaves and how the parents feel. So if people are open to let go and go with the flow of the child and with life in general, I think this is the best for everybody. And this is basically the goal and the work or the challenge there. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's a
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good point. I love that. So
Yeah.
talk about next elevations. I know we've talked about a lot of energy transmission stuff, and I know you help people go through these processes. So talk about what it is that you do.
Yeah. So Next Elevations is a specific offering I have. And for people who don't really prefer to come, I have small group sessions on Zoom where I do healings for people. I have a live meditation on Zoom, which is for free every Thursday. But then because it always involves me, I have to bring in the light and then transmit it to people. And then I was looking for a possibility and also got this information from the lights. Okay, I can actually bring the light to people or connect the light to people without that I'm needed. And so basically created this website. And by getting or subscribing, it's a subscription service to this light, through the website, it's coming in and it's there 24/7. So it's working on people's system. First of all, it meets people where they are. So let's say people, they are more open and have done more healing and clearing work. And then they who are more perceptive to energies, they will feel it, and then they will see, okay, there's a pull towards my personal highest truth. So whatever they're experiencing in their life, and then they see, okay, things are not resonate anymore, or I don't prefer them anymore. The energies help them to let this go and basically trust that something better will come until they know that this is how it is anyways. For people who just, have a lot going on, there's a lot of low vibrational energies in their system, it's helping to heal and clear this first. So people probably experience more of it for a certain amount of time because it brings it up. But what the energies are doing is they basically grab the low vibrational energies from above. So people don't have to sit in one energy for days and days and days and feel it. It's more of a shorter, they experience it for a short amount of time and the energies come in and grab it and move it out of their system. And this can happen, I don't know, depending on where people are, like for 1 or 2 weeks. And then also depending on if some people feel energies and some people don't feel energies. For some people, it's really strong. It comes in and like, oh my God, it's too strong. Over time, the nervous system just gets used to it over a few days, and then it's something that's more in the background. And for people who don't feel energies, the nervous system gets refined so that they might start feeling or perceiving energies in their way because it's also individual. And what the lights are doing is it basically pull people towards their personal highest truth. So it's a constant pull, so the most optimum timeline, basically. So that it's also opening up the energy field so that life energy can flow more. In general, energies can flow more, that they become lighter and raise their vibration. Then life experience changes, becomes more joyful, more especially simpler, because we think we need so many different things and there's just so much there what we think how life is supposed to be. This starts falling away. So it brings us towards our personal highest truth so that we can live a life experience that is of our personal highest truth. And this is what Next Elevations is doing. And Next Elevations contain all energies that exist within creation. So they are a lot. And we can only perceive a certain small amount. So whatever people are needing in the present moment, and this can change moment by moment, those ones are coming in and helping. And if people feel they need a specific support in some areas, I call them energy enhancers. Like I said, everything is contained in the base transmission, but if they need specific help with, for example, experiencing more peace, having a quiet mind, they're having a crazy Kundalini, working up the pathway from the root to the crown chakra to balance the Kundalini energy. People who want to experience unity consciousness, there's an enhancer, or just these specific lights come in and are more present and work more on the system. Also optimum health, and there are a lot more. So there are 15 different ones. So if people feel, okay, I need more support with this one, they can connect to this one and this one. And there is a meeting every month where I do a system upgrade for people, so that just the pulling towards the personal highest truth is always happening, but it's just happening faster because everything is happening within our system, the experience, right? And very important is the nervous system, the brain, and other areas of the body for perceiving the energies and receiving as much as possible. And then I do a system upgrade so that people can just perceive more, and the lights can work better in their system. And I also want to mention, because I think this is very amazing opportunity maybe for some of your listeners, I have a free service on there as well, because, every now and then I got emails from people saying, I need help. But like immediate help. For example, my father has a heart attack, my mother has a stroke, there was an accident and so forth. And so I was always sending healing to these people. But then I also, again, that the energies always give me the idea, they just come as information that I can implement it in the website and have 3 different options where people can go there, type in their name, email address, and then type in the what they need. They can do it for themselves. They can do it for others. Also for people they don't know, they just need to know, okay, my neighbor's work colleague or the person from the news or whatever. And there are different options. The first option is for critical health issues like heart attacks, car accidents, and so forth, so that people receive immediate help. The second one is, this is maybe the one for people who experience grief because of sudden losses or something like that.
Right.
Because this is so traumatizing that people often can't function. They can't really have a normal day life experience anymore. And the second one is exactly for that, the second option. So if people went through experiences, could be also like violence on the physical, all sorts of these things. These energies, so the second option is helping them to basically come back to heal and clear the system to an extent that they can come back and have a fairly normal life experience again, even though this happened, but just, to kind of get back into life. And the third one is for, hang on, I'm looking for the word, catastrophes. So human-made or natural catastrophes, like hurricanes approaching, earthquakes, floodings, wars, human-made ones. People can also go in and just type in the name of, let's say, the country or the area or whatever, wherever this is happening, and then energy is being sent there. Yeah. So this is also on the website. And there is a 2-week free trial. So if people, like for the paid service, if people want to try it, they can try it for 2 weeks. There is this monthly upgrade. All the videos from the upgrades I did before, the previous ones, are also up there. And also there are 10 healing videos people can go through. They're about 65-70 minutes. It's just very intense work. If people go through them, and they will see, like, afterwards, people just share, like, they feel so much lighter, so much more open just by doing these videos. Yeah. So this is Next Elevations. Yeah.
Nice. That sounds like there's quite a bit there. So people have to go check that out and see what's available. And you said you also do a Zoom, you said once a week?
Yeah. So every Thursday, it's at 9:00 Central European time. I thought you were in PDT, but you are in a different time zone. Which one is your time zone?
I'm an Eastern time zone, so I'm 3 hours ahead of PDT. So
okay, 3 hours. So I think we meet at 12 p.m. So it would be 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Your time, so afternoon. Yeah, this is, so we started like 2:45. There's a half an hour Q&A and people share and ask questions. And then we do a 15-minute guided meditation. And this is a bit different. So the guided meditation, like over the past few months, it came up. It's more about, because it's a very high vibrational group, like there are people who are there, have done a lot of work, very expanded level of consciousness, a high level of consciousness. So we can carry a lot of light, and we work on the collective a lot. So we bring in high vibrational lights into the collective. And also, of course, the individual is receiving, but also the collective is receiving. Yeah. So this is what we do there.
Okay. And that's all at Next Elevations?
This is a different website. It's but you also find the information on Next Elevations. But Next Elevation is the subscription service. And then I have another website. It's em-healing.com. This is where I offer retreats, like in-person retreats. And there's a small group healing session every week. Also like targeting low vibrational energies, and all sorts of different other like health, connecting to the true nature, and there are different topics circling. And yeah, this is also where the information for the free meditation is on. Yeah.
All right, we'll put both of those in the show notes so people can link to those. And
Yeah,
Eva,
thank you.
is there anything that you would like for me to have asked you that I didn't?
Yeah, actually, I don't know if you're open to that and your listeners, but I would love to like a, let's say, 7-minute meditation for people, or 10-minute maximum. Is that okay?
That'd be awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Nice, because then I can bring in the energies, and then people can already see if they can feel it, or maybe some can feel it, maybe you can feel it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. I'm just going to remove my headphones. Okay, can you still hear me?
Yes.
All right. So what you can do is just sit back, relax, meditate along, and close your eyes. And I will do the same. And in the beginning, I always need like a moment to set up the session energetically. And then I bring in the energies, and then I start sharing. And people, who are doing something while listening to the podcast, like you can absolutely continue on doing things. It's not going to take you anywhere. It's all happening within the body because this is often a concern. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to start.
Sounds good.
I start with opening up the energy field. And bring in the light. Then I expand the energy field. Expanding the energy field helps to hold more light in the system, and also more awareness comes with that as well. So I'm expanding. And the energy field can always be more expanded. So this is a never-ending process. Then I fill up the expanded space with light. Then I clear surface energies. Surface energies are all sorts of emotions that are floating around the top of your system. And those are the energies where the ones we experience the most. Then this is where our attention goes. So this is why this is our main experience. So I clear them. And surface energies are also all sorts of energies you've been exposed to the past 1 or 2 days. So I'm clearing them. And when I clear the surface energies, first of all, the body really enjoys that because there is less movement in the body. The body gets more relaxed, more comfortable. And at the same time, more light can enter because there is more space. So a lot of light is coming in, flowing in. The light flows in to the body and the energy body through the crown chakra and third eye chakra, just filling up all areas of the body and energy body. And then I also clear surface energies out of the mind. So stuck energies on the mind level. When the system is more open, the energy flows through our system, so also through the mind. And then we have a lot less thoughts or hardly any thoughts, and only thoughts in the present moment for a few seconds, and then they just leave. But since, we've learned to work with the mind, to use the mind so much in our lifetime, energies often get stuck there. And this is why we have like these monkey minds or a lot of thoughts just going on over and over again. I clear these stuck energies out of the mind level. And then right away, what's happening? More light is entering the mind level. So the light is replacing the energies of the thoughts. And then there are just less thoughts or even no thoughts. Then I open up the energy field more. Bring in light. The light can flow into deeper layers now. Then I open up the central energy channel. This is where life energy flows through the system. So life energy flows from the root to the crown chakra, falls back down left and right, and flows up again and so forth. So it's a constant flow. And what we want is we want to have as much life energy flowing as possible, because then we have more energy available in the present moment. Then we experience eventually only the present moment. So the mechanism of the past and the future will dissolve. And this is actually something I'm going to do right now. So I'm dissolving this mechanism of past and future. I bring you fully into the present moment. So you can try it. You can now try to go into the past and the future. But it's probably not possible. It's not possible. You're here with me right now. That's all. So I anchor this. Then I accelerate the life energy. And I help it to flow more. Again, from root to crown chakra, falls back down left and right and flows up again and so forth. And this energy also helps to heal and clear our system. So it's basically doing this from the inside. It helps to open up the system more. And so that we experience life as just a flow of experiences, moment by moment, unfolding. And that's it. So it gets very, very simple. A lot falls away. A lot of desires fall away. So right now, I'm clearing desires out of the system. Clear the energy of desires. All sorts of different desires, things that we think we need, we want, we have to feel good about ourselves, to feel fulfilled. So I clear these all sorts of desires. Then I also clear a lot of other energies. Resistance, second chakra, resistance to life experience itself. I clear resistance, how life is unfolding. There's a lot of resistance there, so I just clear it. Then root chakra, fear of the unknown, fear of the future, fear of not knowing what's going to happen, fear of losing control, fear of being alone, fear of illnesses, fear of not getting things your way. Then also fear of pain, root chakra, fear of pain, through all sorts of different experiences. Then I clear heart chakra. Heart chakra is always identification, when emotions are arising and we identify with them. So there is sadness, I clear sadness. I clear sadness, devastation. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone. I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want how life unfolds. I don't want this. I don't want this. I want it to be different. I want it to be different. I want to be in charge. I want to be in control. Clear these energies. And every energy I'm clearing, a high vibrational energy is replacing this one. So we automatically raising our vibration. I just clear a little bit of resistance in general. And then there is a light coming in with the information of peace. So the light with peace is coming in so that we can experience more peace. So we have the peace within us, but the lights, they come in to transform our system so that we can basically access the peace that's there all the time. So they're helping that way. So every cell of the body is receiving the information of peace right now. And it's changing its information. So every cell has like a little energy body, and this is where the information is being changed. And the information is coming in that everything is exactly how it's supposed to be. A clear resistance. And trust is coming in, trust in life. Also before that is coming in allowing, accepting, the energy of allowance and acceptance. Okay, I allow life to unfold. I don't resist it, I allow it to unfold. It doesn't mean that I'm absolutely happy with how it's unfolding, but I allow it. Then I accept it, okay, it's just how it is. And then I trust that everything is exactly how it's supposed to be. So that's coming in. And this brings a big relief for the system, okay, I can just allow things to unfold. There's so much relaxation there, so much openness, and a lot of light is flowing. Then I fill up the heart chakra with unconditional love. And through the heart chakra, the whole system. So more love is flowing in into all areas of our body and energy body. And let's sit with this for about a minute. And then I will bring you back from this meditation. Okay, we are finished.
Wow. That was awesome. Thank you.
Great, I'm happy. I liked it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Interesting because I know I'm one of those people that doesn't really feel energies, but when you said we're going to be in the present and you try to go to the past or the future, I found I couldn't do it. I was
Yeah,
like
nice.
right there. Yeah, it was really cool.
Cool. Yeah, thank you for letting me do that, so, and I'm
Yeah.
glad you had this experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you talked earlier about like when you're like meditating and then you're coming back to the world. That's where I am right now. So talking to you is like not really easy. So,
Yeah.
yeah, thanks for doing this. I will, I want to enjoy your afternoon. I know it's afternoon for you. So, uh, hope to see you again. So thanks for being here. Thanks for doing this. I'm probably incoherent right now. So
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was absolutely lovely, yeah, meeting you, of course, and talking to you. And I hope the listeners also could take something away from this conversation. And yeah, I would absolutely love to come back one day.
yeah.
So yeah.
So yeah, everybody, the websites will be in the show notes. So check it out and reach out to Eva. And thanks for being here. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Hey there, if you liked this episode, come on over and talk about it. Let me know what you liked. If you didn't like this episode, come on over and talk about it. Let me know what you didn't like. Go to grieftogrowth.com/community and look for Talk About the Podcast. I'll see you there.